Well, yeehaw! We're here.
Here we are.
Here we are.
Welcome, everyone.
Welcome to the lighter side of the dark side.
Yeah,
I got to tell you, I've got my adorable little minion with me, and this Zia, and bless her heart, she has got some contact dermatitis going on, so she looks like she's actually got sunburn. So she's going to be cool, and she's going to be wearing her rose-colored glasses, which we all need from time to time. And so you see her ring light, and I've been telling her she looks like my little minion today. What's on the agenda?
Oh, well, thank y'all for joining us. So, tonight on Zeea and Pat's Witchy Wonders, we're going to be talking about Weird Tennessee. And Tennessee, Ashe County was actually where I live here. It's actually used to be a part of Tennessee, an unincorporated part, but before they read down the boundary lines. So that's pretty interesting little tidbit there. But if you guys are out there, if you're watching, if you're listening, leave a comment, interact with us. We like talking to you guys. Let us know your thoughts. If something we're talking about reminds you of something, or if you're in Tennessee, don't be afraid to chime in and talk to us. We this is why we do it live. We like to have conversations or a little chat talk show. And so yeah, comment below where you're from. Actually comment, are you on your phone or are you on your computer? How are you watching us right now? And comment what state you're in. And like I said, we're going to be talking about Weird Tennessee. So if you guys are listening from Tennessee, and this can be after, it don't have to be live. If you're watching us after on YouTube, let us know maybe some Tennessee stories that we left out, at the end, because I'm sure we might leave some things out because it's a, pretty big area of coverage. But let's see. What do you want to talk about first, Pat?
Well, I just want to mention too, we're thinking about doing hexes in culture, and that would be like, literature and movies, and also in history. So hexes in history and culture. So if that's something that may appeal to you, just let us know. And if there's any other ideas that you have for shows that you would like to see us do, then we'll do those too. And I will tell you, we're doing our best to come to you at least once a month, starting back in October. We're going to be able to go more, maybe if not more frequently. We're going to be there, on time every third Thursday. But I've been working on this documentary. It's been absolutely incredibly overwhelming. I know that we're coming up on the spooky season for you, my dear, my minion. And
Yeah,
tell us
that's
about that. What's going on
that's
at
what I was
the
gonna
at the
say.
shop?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is right now is my busy time, and I do tend to get a little bit run down. Something's always. And I think also Mercury retrograde right now had something to do with this. But oh yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I meant to wear these glasses today. It's my fashion. But but yeah. Oh, there's someone said hello. Hello there. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Hey,
Um,
TJ, thanks for
we're
coming.
gonna have fun. We have a fun time. So
Mhm.
yeah, what's going on with me? Yes, the busy season at the shop. Um, in September, I'm actually. Oh wait, go back. So Haunt Hops, he's got a channel here on YouTube and on Facebook. So look up Haunt Hops. Now he goes around to different places and like mostly like bars and restaurants and stuff like that, and does little features and interviews the people there and asks them if there's any haunted stuff going on at that location. So he came by Great Southern Gothic. He was just doing sort of a little aside, and I said, well, I do have a ghost story, so I talked to him a little bit about that. But yeah, just follow him and see the videos that he's putting out about the shop. He did sort of a little promo or sort of commercial for the shop. So that was fun. I don't know what all he's going to use from the footage, but we had a fun discussion, and I was glad to meet him. And also, I have a group called High Country Haints that you can join. So it's stuff in the high country area. So that includes like Ash, Boone, Sparta, and just sort of around that high country area. So it's on Facebook, and but yeah, I think this week Hops, he said he was gonna put out a video on YouTube, so look out for that. And he's on TikTok as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then
Uh,
on I was gonna say in September, that that night before the premiere of Pat's documentary, it's called There's Magic in the Mountains. Go to grannywitch.com, find out more about it. Anyway, the night before that, I'm going to be teaming up with Ashe County Little Theater. They're doing a production of Turn of the Screw. So that's like sort of a Victorian era ghost story based on a short novella. And I'm going to be doing tarot card readings for their, it's like a fundraiser, and they're going to be doing some different special spooky events, things that I probably will also be helping them with, maybe telling some stories. But yeah, I'm going to do tarot reading, and it's going to be fun. So look, definitely if you're local in the area, look up Ashe County Little Theater, follow them, follow Great Southern Gothic, and we'll be putting, doing a little bit of entertainment for you guys. All right. And
and if
yeah,
you,
it's going to be busy
oh,
in September.
it is. Well, and it's already started. I'm going to be traveling to Lilydale, New York this coming week, and I'm giving two presentations. One on expanding consciousness through lifetimes and connecting with your mediumship abilities, and then the other one is really how we can connect with this whole idea of self hypnosis and how it can help us
Mm.
fundamentally day to day. So those are the two things that I'm going to be doing next week, and I'm also going to be up in on September 19th. I'm going to be up in let's see, Cincinnati, Ohio, and I'm going to be at the Sacred Market. Journey. I'm going to be up there. And by the way, giving a shout out to Mimi and Missy. They are just incredible people. They're two sisters that put this particular event on. So just want
Cool.
to give them some creds before we start. Now, which of these? I love a good ghost story, a good cryptid story. Which one do you want to start with?
Well, like I said, with all this going on, I didn't get too much time to actually research. But, me being a spooky person, I know the tales, I know the stories, not all of them. I'm always eager to learn more. Like I said, if y'all want to comment some of your favorite stories, you can. But first of all, let's just talk about the Wampus cat. Throw that out there. So that was a Tennessee legend of one of the Cherokee people's legends. So basically, there was, long story short, I guess, um, one night there was a woman from the community that went into the woods and observed whatever male only ceremony was going on. And for that reason, she was, I don't know, I don't want to say cursed, but I guess cursed. I don't know by whom. I need to research more. Y'all let me know. But she was turned into a cat being. And some people say, it's like she was like half cat, half human still, maybe like Egyptian Bastet situation. But some people say she was just like a cat, a large cat, like maybe some say a panther, but that's not exactly what it looked like. But and then some people say she could change at will from a wild cat to a human. But yeah, there's different versions of it. But she was cursed into being this cat creature.
Yeah. And I will mention that this is it's actually a legendary Cherokee
Mhm.
mythology, and it's also, of course, part of our Appalachian folklore. When our
Yes.
ancestors got here, the Scots, Irish, and primarily German. I mean, that those were the three early settlers about 1717. Then, of course, they began to meld their culture with the local Indian native nation, which happened to be the largest was the Cherokee Nation, but also with Choctaw and other Indian nations. So anyway, supposedly this cat, by its screeching, could actually drive men crazy. Say you were out and you were hunting, and you were part of a hunting group, and the cat would start screaming. You know, it might create a situation where you would go mad and attack some of the others in the group. There were stories about, men losing their minds because of this, and they might have glowing yellow eyes that Wampus cat might. So it has its own distinct mythology, and it is grounded in the Cherokee mythology. So yeah, it's really interesting. I like that idea of because it almost seems like it has traits of the banshee and the screaming, right? And then also with this whole idea of the selkie, where it's a shape shifter. The silky or selkie, I'm probably mispronouncing that in Irish lore. This was a woman, but it was also a creature of the sea, and would someone that would shapeshift onto the land and become a woman. And then it would often marry a member of the human race and would have children and would begin to miss its home in the deep sea. And so it would find its it was like its tail that had been folded up, right, like a fishtail, and they would put this back on and become part of the ocean again, and they would often leave the person that they loved and that loved them and their children to return to the sea. So there's this idea of being able to shapeshift, and they were supposed to be fierce. Wampus cats were fierce hunters. So it's an interesting mythology. And just one more reason why a lot of people feel uncomfortable after dark in the mountains, because we do have things that seem to move around, even if you're familiar with these mountains, that you don't quite understand, or you're not quite able to pinpoint. And I saw this man today. I'm going to tell you this. This is so funny, Zia. He is from England, either England or Scotland. And he was talking about how much, because he was here for the World Cup, how much he loved America and Americans. And then he says, "But you all have something that we don't have." He said, "You all have things in the woods." He said, "You all have the grizzly bear." And I'm like, oh my God,
Wait.
this guy sounded like Joe Rogan. You know how Joe Rogan's always bringing up the bears.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that, our area doesn't have grizzly bears because
Right.
they're way bigger than our bears. It's funny. I'll tell you the other day, we was sitting right here. I have me like a little couch in this room. I was sitting right here and out this window, you can see out that window. There was a little bear scampered down the hill. Now I could tell it was a juvenile, it wasn't like really too big. I guess it might have been about my size. I don't know. But at first I saw my cat because she's got a little perch right there. She was looking, and I'm like, "What are you looking at?" And I went over there. I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's a bear!" And I was trying to tell Justin, "Bear, it's a bear." But we had fans on, but it just went down through there, and she was, like a, Halloween cat bowed up, like, oh, no. And so she actually hid for a little while. And I was like, I have never seen her be that scared. But I called Mama. I was like, hey, there was a bear out here. Cause, her last name is Bear, but like Bare. So it's like, we always had bear iconography around the house. And it said that our family line is kind of like stocky and have like big hands or like wide feet because we'd say, oh, that baby's got bear's feet, wide. And we're strong. Okay. You don't cross us. and we like honey. Anyway, so yeah, that
Oh,
was a funny
let
little
me
bear encounter we had. And then it was
let
just
me let,
gone. Nobody ever seen it. They're around. Just we happened to see one that day. But it's
well,
always
let me
fun.
I just want to show you all this. This is funny. This was this is
Ah,
supposed
it's
as
not
you
real.
can as yeah, it's not the only time a bear look at the black bear. So they sometimes climb those telephone poles or electric poles. Hopefully this bear got down alive. The last time I checked it was okay. So hopefully it is.
Yeah. Um, yeah, so we have brown bears and black bears, I guess. Black bears, that's mainly what we got. So they don't get too big. I mean, yeah, that'd be horrible if we had grizzly bears. But yeah, if anybody's out there, comment and let us know. Say hey. And also, let's see, let me kind of transition here. We were talking about kind of that, a woman that could shapeshift into a cat. That's always the whole thing about witches and everything. We did actually an episode of our witchy wisdom podcast where we talked about shapeshifters and things. We talked about it was animals and witchcraft, I think, and we had a part 1 and part 2. But yeah, go check that out if you want to watch more after this. So the Bell Witch in Tennessee.
Mm. Mhm.
That's at Adams, Tennessee, and we've talked about that before too. And I think that is known as one of the I don't know, one of the most prolific American hauntings besides what?
What
Name some more, the Conjuring House stuff and
Well, this one though is the very first
yeah,
haunted
the first one. Okay.
haunted story in America. I mean, verified, if you will, by neighbors and that sort of thing. And the Bell Witch haunting actually happened between 1817 and 1821, and it was so violent and so active that Andrew Jackson
Yes, that's what
wasn't present.
I was gonna say, what was it last time we couldn't remember, but now I'm like, yeah, so tell it.
Okay, he came to visit because it was of renowned repute of being haunted. So Andrew Jackson actually visited for one night, and he got the heck out of town the next morning, and he said he would rather fight an entire British regiment than go back and spend one more night at the Bell Witch House and property, which is really interesting. And and what's really sad about this, of course, well, some people may think it's sad, and that is that it is also the first haunting that some people attribute a ghost actually killing a human being, and that was John Bell, the father. And she actually laughed as he was dying, and it was thought that he was poisoned. Now there was a movie that was made, I forget the name of it, but
Oh,
it intimated, if you will, or hinted that maybe there was some incest going on, and that maybe Betsy Bell, because she was also one of the ones, or she and her father, that were kind of tortured by this ghost, if you will, this entity of whatever it was. Yes, supposedly the ghost was laughing. The Bell Witch was laughing whenever he died. We don't have all the answers. She was supposed to come back in 1828, I believe, and they don't know for sure if she's ever come back. There's been no
well,
notation of it.
did you say that there was a poison found? That's what it killed him, wasn't it? Okay.
Well, it was a poison, but they never found the poison. That's what I thought. That's why I'm like, maybe somebody took an
Oh,
opportunity. Maybe he was a you know what, and they took this opportunity.
oh,
It was an American Haunting. Was the name of the movie? It was a good movie, wasn't it, Colleen? It was an excellent movie, and it did give one cause to ponder because I always like to look for a paranormal reason, and I'd rather disprove that, and that gives you more evidence, if you will, for to say that the haunting is or is not real. So yes, the American Haunting, it was excellent.
I'll have to watch that. That sounds really good. Um,
It really is.
and also
And we
there's
got
the sorry,
oh, I was
there
gonna
more
say we
people?
got some
Okay, hey.
hello? JoJo the fairy. Ooh, I love that. JoJo, we talked about
Oh
fairies not too
yeah.
long ago, and we are both big fairy people. I have a fairy garden and a fairy tree, which was very common back in the old country. And this little lady right here, Zia, she encountered, I mean, it, it really did make you wonder,
You
didn't it?
know,
Uh,
she's my friend actually, and I think I showed
ah,
her that video.
ah.
That yeah. Um, there was a oh wait, which time you talking about? We did a whole episode on fairies, and I think she's watched
That's
it
right.
actually.
Oh, excellent,
Hello,
excellent.
Millie. Hello,
This is
Millie.
Miss Millie. Hello, Millie. Always glad to have you. Thank you for your support, you guys. And then, of course, Colleen again, thank you. And I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Um, but thank you for being here. And then one more. We just like to and then we got Diane. Miss Diane, thank you for being with us. We appreciate you. And JoJo the fairy says, yes, yes, more fairy lore. We'll have to do something. Maybe bring JoJo on the show sometime
Oh
and talk
yeah,
about fairies.
I mean, if she wants to be on there, she would I think she'd be a good guest if she wants to do it.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
oh
Oh,
yeah, we are talking about the Bell Witch Cave too. So there's
hmm
a cave nearby.
hmm
Well, I think there was the house at that, and didn't they tear that house down? But then they made a replica of it, like near that cave, that people can go and visit, and you can visit
I
inside the cave too.
Mhm. I
Well,
actually have a friend, this was on her bucket list, and I'm gonna give a shout out to, and I know some of you all may know her, Shelley Sprouse, Mead, and Gerhardt. She passed away, unfortunately, about a year and a half ago, and just a wonderful human being. This was on her final bucket list, and so I went with them, and it was quite the experience. I was able to see the cabin because the land itself, it does make me wonder if this spirit was like what we call an elemental because it was so powerful and it really didn't act like a quote unquote ghost in the way that it manifested, but it did act like what we would imagine. And Jojo, the Fae, right? They were known to be very aggressive. They could be very aggressive. They had that reputation in the old country. So it always made me wonder, maybe this is another angle to look at when we look at the possibilities of what was the Bell Witch. Um,
um,
so,
But yeah, that was why I brought it up too. I don't know if I finished said it, but apparently, it was said the Bell Witch could shapeshift into a panther. Like people would see a black panther there near that cave, and just weird stuff anyway in this cave. Like I don't know, people would hear talking or see things, and I mean all throughout history, people have seen things or come out of caves, all kind of boogers and stuff.
mhm. Oh, I wanna mention too that poor old John, they think he was poisoned because he was having seizures, he was sick to his stomach. I mean, he really did he died a terrible death, and I am
Oh my
one of these
gosh.
people, I am programmed to laugh when things are I would have made the perfect, undertaker because I'm wired it's if the if I were on the Titanic and I saw us hitting the glacier, it would be me going, "Ah!" because that's it's like my synapses misfire.
See y'all, this is
Uh,
a great show, and you better like and subscribe, follow, all that good stuff, because we
yeah,
have fun.
yeah. Yeah, we do. And we want you all to have fun too. So if you've got any questions for us as we go along, please let us know what those questions may be. We don't have all the answers. We do research these locations. Now, since we have some of you on, what we're wanting to do in the next show is talk about hexing in history and culture. If that appeals to you guys, let us know and bring your questions next time. And also, if you have any ideas for for future shows, we'd like to hear them. We definitely want to interact with you. This is your show too. We're here with you as part of this also. Let's see, Pat O'Keefe, check your Facebook Messenger. That's Becky Webb. Paulette, yes, Miss Becky, I'll do that. All right, so go ahead.
Um, well, what I was going to say is, I thought we were going to do one more. We were going to do Weird West Virginia, but obviously we don't have to. But
Well,
y'all let us know.
yeah, if y'all would rather have Weird West Virginia and then we'll move on to hexing and
Yeah.
history and culture, then we can do that. I'm up for anything, whatever
Mhm.
you guys would like to do. So let us know. Um, yeah, and oh, by the way, I was
Okay.
in the Bell Witch Cave also, and it does kind of have a vibe, guys. The property does. There's still like a residual energy there, and in that cave, especially. So there's a little bit of that energy that is left. But yeah, just one of the things. Do you want to talk about? I would like to talk about the land between the lakes. So if you want to wrap this
Now
up with
listen,
anything,
I'm
all
not
right.
familiar with that, so tell us.
Okay, this one for anybody who loves a good werewolf story. There is a creature, and it is uh, located, the activity in this place called Land Between the Lakes. Now, believe it or not, they have a big campground there, and I have actually camped there several times on my
Wow.
way out to to Montana to Ken's brothers. And I'm going to tell you, when you get away from that campground and you start going in to inland, so to speak, there's a little town. You have to go out into the country, and then you get to this little town, and there's this nice little restaurant there, right? I'm telling you, people, it is like Children of the Corn. There is something wrong with this place. There is. The energy is palatable. It is like hearing a heartbeat. It really is in the
Ew.
earth. There is such a strong energy there, and it gave me cause to pause, and this is before I ever knew about the werewolf of the Land Between the Lakes. Now, I read one story where this family was actually butchered. Now, I tried to find more information, I couldn't, so it might just be one of those internet things, but a family was actually butchered, and when they went in and found the bodies, there was, it was like they were torn apart by
Ew.
a man-sized wolf, is what it looked like. Um, it is actually spotted. People spot this, like, man-wolf creature in this area. All I can tell you, I never saw that, but I can tell you this: if you ever have a chance to go out there and stay in that, campground in Land Between the Lakes, that's the name of the campground, and just go out into, take a right and just go
You
out
you
that
know,
way.
there
It's
has
worth the trip.
there's something to that, because like we talk a lot, like a few times I'm sure we've talked about like liminal spaces and then places where like spirits show up and they show up near bodies of water or when it's raining. So think about being right there in between those two bodies of water if you're between the lakes, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm,
Maybe that's
mhm.
why there's weird stuff going on there. This it's like a portal. Think about it to the
Well
spirit world.
well, I no, I definitely believe in portals. I think they're more common, than people realize, but I also think that and this is just my thinking, but creatures that we see that we don't see on the daily, like something like the werewolf of the Land Between the Lakes, or Sasquatch, or I really do believe that we are talking interdimensional doorways, and that's why you just don't go out and find one like a bear in a cave somewhere. um, I also think that, that's why if you're lying in bed, that often you'll see things come out of the closet or the corner of the room, because I think that, that our laws of physics begin to count, if you will, with things that, entities and spirits that are in the ether, because they deal with the metaphysical rules, right? But in our world, two physical objects cannot occupy the same space, right? That's kind of one of the rules. And so I really think that that's why we see things come out of the closet, or we see things come out of the corner, because the chances of one of us being in the closet after dark with the lights off, it's kind of a slim chance. Also, I think that's why children see so many things in the closet, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Um, Jojo said, "Have you heard of the Catman in East Tennessee?" Well, if you would write a short thing, just so we can read that comment here in a minute, because I haven't. Have you, Pat, heard of that?
Well, I'm wondering if that's the same thing as a Wampus cat.
Could be.
And yeah, it could be something where it's being described differently, right? Being a
Yeah,
cat man instead of, this whole idea of the feminine energy. Because and this is common to East Tennessee, by the way, Jojo. That's why I'm mentioning that could be what it is. It's the same thing, but being reported by different people as being two different things. Because the Wampus cat, and also see in East Tennessee the cat man, I mean, there could be two different species there, but I would think that, maybe it was the same thing, but being reported. Yeah.
it could be. And we were talking about the Bell Witch Cave. There's another interesting cave in Tennessee, and it's called the Crystal Grotto. And well, it's like a man made, I don't know, I think the cave is real, but the part that's man made is it's got like Christian religious iconography there, and they've got crystals all over. It's like a crystal cave. And I'd like to check it out someday. The only reason I even know about that is because I have the Southern Gothic Oracle deck by Christy Williams Ung. Or no, wait, I say Christy? That's not her name. Anyway, um, she she has the Southern Gothic Oracle deck, and in it is the Crystal Grotto card, and I don't remember exactly what she has it representing, but yeah, she's got some other cool things in there too. And there's this place called it's like a dry goods store, and it's called Schwab, something Schwab, and I would love to go there. I think that's in not Nashville, but what's another, big place. But there's
Oh,
so many
Knoxville?
interesting places. Yeah, probably.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, it's a haunted, like that place is haunted because it's very old, like a very old store. Like maybe the oldest store on that street, I think. But yeah.
Well, let me tell you something, guys. Probably the most radically haunted, one of the most radically haunted, I should say, places that I have been, and negatively haunted, by the way, is Old South Pittsburgh Hospital. If any of you all have been there or know about this, drop us a line. It is a very dark place. I've been there several times. It's the only place I've ever been attacked successfully,
Oh,
and I was in room 317. Let me tell you, it was just me and one other person. And this is just an old dilapidated hospital. And I was in there with Jennifer Woodward Prophet, and we were running a camera, and I had my backpack on. The only thing I had in that backpack at the time was one lens. All of a sudden, you see me go flying backwards
oh my
because
gosh.
this little boy jumps up on my backpack. And it's like, you know how children will lift their legs, and then all of a sudden you've got all that weight. And that's what it was like. And I realized what it was, and, or who it was. And I told this little soul, I said, uh, sweetheart, I said, you need to let go. You need to let go. You're just too heavy for me. And he let go. But about that moment, I was looking out the door of room 317 or 307. I've got a terrible memory. And there is an exit sign there. And there's like this black mass that is swirling. And I know I'm in trouble because that's how I see negative energy, right? And this is pretty dark energy. And I see it coming into the room. And see, there's no egress. There's no egress. I'm stuck in this room. and it's coming right at me. And it comes into my personal space, and I start feeling it's like battery acid that is being
My
just
gosh.
dropped on my back. Yeah. And I have a picture somewhere. I've got it's like three talons like this just went straight down my back from my neck sideways to my hip.
My
And
gosh.
yeah, and I am very, very good at protection, but I got, it got me. It got me, so
That's
and it's
crazy.
dark. Well, one time I was standing in the emergency, it's like the emergency entrance, and I was looking up, and I see this nurse just walk past, and it's like her face is turned towards me, but there's no face. Imagine, like, clouds moving, like,
Oh,
only it's
wow.
white mist, yeah,
Yeah.
and so there's no future or features. Someone told me that that's the sign of a lost soul. I haven't researched that. I need to do that. And then one time, right next to where you go up the ramp in the emergency room, there is this long, they call it the long, dark hallway. So I'm walking through there by myself and I hear this, hey, you.
Uh,
And I look over to my left and there is this man dressed in white like he works there. And I looked in the room because, we are who we are. So I look in the room and he's got his hand on this old, um, it was an old x-ray machine. And he's got his hand on it. He's looking over at me. And I looked at him and I'm like, not today, not today. I
uh,
just went back out, just slid out and just kept on going. And then one time also, and I didn't know at the time that, there was a house that had burned and there had been lives lost in that house, but I started smelling smoke to the point where I had my daughter and I were there, and we actually, made sure that we knew how to get out of the building. So this is and I've often wondered too if that isn't future sense too, that if that might not be, if they're not careful, the future of, this particular hospital, that it may go up
yeah.
in flames because sometimes you can't tell the difference between the past and the future unless you get some sort of a specific message. Um, ooh, look at this. Let's see. Oh, oh my gosh, Becky, that sounds amazing. And then Colleen, ooh, we are headed back in November. I know I need to get back with you guys. I did see that. I've just been crazy busy, like we were talking about, and I've had my grandbaby and poor, poor Zia. I feel really bad for her because she's balancing, her business, and then she's getting hit with what we call haunt season, and
Yeah.
then she's got this lovely, red rash, bless her heart. That is just miserable.
I wanted to say this as well. I was correcting myself. It's by Stacy
Ah,
Williams Ng. It's NG at the end.
mm,
So this is a Southern Botanic Oracle she does, but the Southern Gothic Oracle is the one I was talking about. She has like different stuff from the South in there and different locations and the Haints deck mixed in with it. So then that had what we talked about last time when we did Weird Virginia. We talked about the vampire Richmond vampire. So he was in that mentioned in there. So yeah, I like those. I need to get more of those for the shop. This one's the Botanic Oracle, and then she's got the Southern Gothic Oracle. And then I think she came out with the purely Haints or Haunts deck. So I need to get that one too. I haven't seen that one. But she's from
okay.
Tennessee. Yeah, she lives in Tennessee.
All right, for everybody that's listening, I am thinking of a number. I'm going to write it down. And it's between 1 and 20. And the person that gets that number right gets a wand that my sister has made
Oh,
these beautiful poplar wands, and I will ship one to you. And it is made out of poplar, which means that it's like a clear crystal. You can use a poplar wand for any kind of magic, and it comes in a velvet pouch, and each of them are hand tooled. She is a woodworker and just does beautiful work. And her husband is actually a master woodworker who is trained. Oh, Becky's already got hers. Guys, get
yeah.
those numbers in.
Get them in. Comment.
And if we don't get the exact number, then the one closest to it.
Is this only open to the people that's watching, or is it going to be
That's
after?
Nope, just the people that's watching.
All right, guys,
So,
you have a good
yeah,
chance. How many's watching?
that's right. We've got 10 right now. We've got
Oh yeah,
10. So,
cool. All right. Um, I got one of the wands. She was nice enough to give me one, and I cherish it. I have it at the shop on my little altar in my reading room. If anyone wants to see it, when you come by, I'll show you. So
mhm.
yeah, they're
And
cute.
And to the person that gets it, make sure that you send me your address so that I can get that out to you, and give me a couple days because I'm slow as molasses. It happens. It happens. I live up on a mountain and I don't like to leave it sometimes. But but unfortunately, I'm going to be forced off the mountain to go to Lilydale, New York, like I told you. Now, we've got Miranda Herbert. She said she'd like the hexing theme for next time. Any of
Okay,
the rest of you? Yeah. Any of the rest of you like uh, the idea of a show on hexing in history and also culture, let us know. We're excited to do that. And then after that, we'll do the West Virginia, weird West Virginia. So we'll be doing that next. And there is a lot of weirdness in West Virginia. I talked with Rosemary Ellen Guiley once, and I loved her. For those of you that knew her, she wrote about 75 books on all aspects of the occult, and these are not little books. I mean, she did if you'll remember, she did the encyclopedias, and I've got.
I have the Encyclopedia of Witchcraft, and I
Mhm,
looked at it the other day, and I saw the name. I was like, "Hey, that's who Pat said." You were mentioning her before. I need to
mhm.
check it out. I do have, and also I have the Encyclopedia of Witchcraft by Judica Iles, and she's been writing a lot of books lately, different doing encyclopedias like that too.
Oh, I love books. If
Yeah,
I
me
would
too.
have the new public library in my house if I could do it. I do love
Yeah,
those.
I got me a library card again, a couple weeks ago because so that I can go get books to do research for our shows. And
Well,
also,
Colleen,
huh?
I was gonna tell Colleen. Colleen will rectify that. Just send me your address, alrighty? Um, so does anybody have anything else that they'd like to talk about, as far
Well,
as weird Tennessee? You got
yeah,
something?
y'all leave us a comment if you think of anything, but I wanted to say
Mhm.
also October 9th, I'm planning to do a spooky book fair at the shop. So, we're gonna have ghost story books for sale, and this is gonna be like a all ages, family friendly community event. And have some ghost story books for sale at the shop, and also, things like journals and stuff that I already sell. Um, but what I wanted to talk about was Roan Mountain. Have y'all heard about Roan Mountain? So this, I think, is kind of in a way close to Ash. I'm not sure how far away it is, but it's in Tennessee. And people say that it sounds like a ghostly choir. Like, depending on who you talk to, they say, "Oh, it sounds like angels singing." Other people say, "Oh, it sounds like demons screaming." And it's been, theorized. Is it the wind, or what is it causing this? But it's people hear stuff up there, vibrations, too, or is it just the wind? But one time there was a hotel up there, and people uh, were having a celebration of the opening of the hotel. And there's this guy staying there, and he wanted to explore the grounds, and he got lost in the woods. He got too far away, and he lost his direction. And then all of a sudden, a storm came, lightning crashing, loud rumbling thunder, and rain started. So he had to get in a cave. It's like a small little cave overhang. So he was standing there just watching it rain, and it's so windy, and the wind picks up and it sounds like singing. And all of a sudden, from behind him, there's a procession of ghosts just goes in front of him outside of the cave, and they're singing as they go along. And he's just frozen in place, and he could see his breath in front of his face. And then, after the last spirit left, the clouds went away and the sun came out. And then he was able to find his way back to the hotel. And when he got to the hotel, the people that was there said his hair had turned white and he was soaking wet. And apparently where they were at, there was not a storm. So, interesting. Have
All
you guys
right.
heard that story? Let us know.
I had not heard that one. I had not heard that one when I was getting, but there's so many little stories that are getting lost as time goes on, unfortunately. So I really give kudos to writers and people that are trying to preserve some of the stories.
Now,
Which
Pat,
brings
that
me
was
to
a real story now. Nobody made that up now. That's
no,
a
no,
true
no. I'm
story.
not. I'm not saying that. I'm saying
Oh,
the
okay, yeah.
stories though are
They're
being
just recording it.
lost.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. The stories that we know are being lost, unfortunately. Let's see, we've got Miranda. Miss Miranda has a question. I'm gonna put it up. Do you have any information on the conservatory in West Virginia? There is a radius around it where there are no cell towers, people with frequency sensitivities. Are we talking about, oh man, I know where this is. I actually went past it all the time. I grew up in West Virginia. Golly jeepers,
I don't
it's
know
way out.
anything about that, but maybe we'll research it next for the next video. And
Well,
to me, it sounds like it might have something to do with Mothman. They can't be doing that stuff if Mothman's to be flying around there, you know?
no, this is an observatory. Yeah, Miranda, I know exactly what you're talking about, and it is. I mean, it is off the grid. I know exactly where you're talking about. So yeah, let us get our stuff together. What it is, I worked for the state of West Virginia when I was just a kid. My mom signed for me to work because it was work or starve. And I actually got out. Now, think about this. This is the middle of a West Virginia winter with these little poles. And at the end of it, it has this little hook thing that is really a saw. And you put it up and you go, trying to get those branches down and work down in those woods. And I know, God, it kills me when I can't think of something. But anyway, yeah, we'll do that. And it was kind of one of those things that the locals knew about, but it really wasn't a big uh, thing where it was widely known, if you know what I mean. It's kind of like the Greenboro Hotel, and I don't want to get into too much because I don't want to give it all away. But the Greenboro Hotel, I definitely want to talk about next time because it's got a very interesting history, and I actually worked there one summer right before I went to college. So yeah, fun. Let's see.
Look at my eyes.
I've heard Roan Mountain Story, always wanted to go up and hear the singing.
Oh,
Nice. I had
yeah,
not
I'm
heard it
glad
till
you
then.
heard about that one. That is a really fun story. Um, there was someone I was just scrolling on TikTok, and then it was this woman that was hiking on Roan Mountain, and I was like, "Did you hear the singing on Roan Mountain?" And she didn't. I don't think she said anything, but some people liked my comments, so I knew they knew what I was talking about.
All right. Well, we're going to start wrapping it up. Does anybody have any last minute questions? We're so happy that you joined us tonight. It does mean a lot to us that you do that you do join us. And Green
Yeah,
Bank.
thank
I
you,
knew it.
everyone.
I knew it. It was
What
driving
was
me
it?
crazy. Yes, it's Green Bank, Green Bank, and it's right there in the Monongahela National Park. I used to work out in the Monongahela National Park. Imagine it. Here I am, this little kid. Saw these tree branches with snow up to here. Now I will tell you, the part of my people they're lumberjacks. Because that was one of the big resources that we had as Poe people, and of course, you had these big companies coming in, taking the old growth, et cetera, et cetera. But in this case, it happened to be my great uncle, and he was there. Now his son, my cousin, was with him, and I'll never forget because his son was sitting on a tree stump, and I was just working my little 14-year-old self, hard, man, for that paycheck. And I'll never forget, my uncle looked at me, looked at him, he looked back at me, he said, "I wish he'd work like you, Pat." I'll never forget that.
That's great.
But yeah, you'd be out there, and snow up to your waist, no kidding, man. But anyway, the Green Bank Observatory, yeah, it was one of those things that locals were very aware of, and it does have kind of a you can't come here, you can't go there. But yeah, I've been through it many times, so we'll look that up and do some research on that. Also, there is an old hospital that I want to talk about that I actually worked at. I love this. Haunted Holy, Hannah. I can't wait to tell you all about that, but we'll do that next time.
Cool.
So if no, oh, thank you, JoJo. She said, I'm gonna put this up. Great episode. Thanks, ladies. Thank you, JoJo, and I hope
Good.
that
I'm
you come
glad you
back.
enjoyed it. Thank you all for joining us. And once again, like, subscribe,
Okay.
share, all
Now
that good stuff. What's
you
that?
can't
Oh,
see
yeah, what
this.
number?
It's an ugly 4. It's a 4. So the one closest to 4 is the one that gets it, and then Colleen get in touch with me. And also, if any of you are going to be coming to the opening or the premiere of our documentary, there's Magic in the Mountains over in Bristol, Virginia. I'm going to have wands available for the first 25 to 30 people. So we
Oh,
want to give
well,
those
now,
away that night
what
too.
time is it again? It's September
I don't
12th.
It's September 12th, and I need to call them and set the final time.
Okay.
So, I'll do
We'll
that this
we'll
week
let
so I
y'all
can let
know.
you know.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
wait. Thank you for letting me be a part of it. I can't wait to see it. It's going to be so
yeah.
fun. I'll be there too, guys, and we'll, talk and, have fun and all that. But yeah,
And
thank y'all
Millie
for
says
watching.
she's gonna be there, and, yeah, let me see. And then, yeah, thank you, Becky, thank you for coming, and thank you all from the bottom of our house and heart, and from both of us, we want you to know, always stay
Curious.
curious. Until next time. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.